Hello, welcome to yet another episode. And today's episode is going to be the continuation of the previous video, what I uh, uploaded day before yesterday. That was related to uh, cheap valued stocks. It means in terms of valuation, come stocks which are trading at cheap valuation after this market fall. So I'm going to continue that set of studies, continue to show you that set of studies because there were many sectors. I could show you a part of it only. So today I'm going to resume and going to show rest other counters, rest other sectors, and stocks favorable stocks with favorable valuation from that particular from those sectors. But before that, I have a disclaimer that I do not have any buy, sell, hold recommendation in this particular video. I even don't give any buy, sell, hold recommendation on any open platform. Uh, if you, as I'm going to name many companies, so please don't consider any of it as a buy, sell, hold recommendation. If you have any interest, or if you generate any interest in that particular in any particular stock from the list, you can do your own studies, take your own call, or you may consult with a registered advisor. Anyways, so without wasting time, I just want to share my screen and take you through that particular list. So here is the list, and let's start with the first sector. Let me make it little bold, little big. Now font is bigger. I hope it is visible to all of you. Anyways, so the first sector is the abrasive. In the abrasive sector, Carborundum Universal is quoting at the lowest valuation compared to its peers. Uh, Next one is air conditioner. Air conditioner, like we have considered three companies only: Blue Star, Johnson Control means Hitachi, and Voltus. So only these three companies. Uh, Rest other companies, let's say Havels. We cannot take Havels here because Havels has lots of other products, electrical products in their product portfolio, which contributes larger part of their revenue. So Havells valuation from the air conditioners point of view is not relevant. Or let's say Whirlpool also will not be relevant because their washing machine, refrigerator are a larger chunk of their revenue. So in this, like I would say up to a certain extent, it's these are pure play. Although like there are like for Blue Star, there are project revenue for Voltas as well. But Voltas is at least at this point in time, Voltas is quoting cheaper than rest other players. Voltas was for a quite long time, Voltas was quoting at very high valuation. But recent period, there are some developments and like your bottom line has started expanding for Voltas, which reflected very good for the valuation of Voltas. So currently it is cheaper than rest of the nearest peers of the company. Uh, Next, aquaculture. I will not go to aquaculture. Auto ancillary is very important sector, important segment. And if we have a look from the valuation point of view, in a macro sense, I would say macro sense of the auto ancillary sector, then there are many companies which are quoting at reasonably low valuation. When the high valuation companies are, I'm not taking these companies like who are quoting at 100x, 300, 400x. So compared to 50, 40, 30 value, like value, like some of the companies are quoting at 30, 40, 50x. Compared to them, some of these companies are really cheap. But one thing here, that auto ancillary, if I said initially that in a macro sense, in a macro point of view of the auto ancillary sector, but auto ancillary itself is a very diversified segment. Like uh, if you consider piston companies, here two piston companies are at the lowest, like quoting at the lowest valuation, Menon Piston and one another I have seen. Yeah, uh, Sam Sam KRG uh, pistons. These two piston companies are quoting at lower valuation. But comparing these piston companies with other companies like Talbros Auto, with Munjal Auto will not be correct. So in auto ancillary, there are various other various sub-segments, sub-sectors. In a separate video, I will come with the sub-sector wise valuation thing. It's not about auto ancillary. Over the period of time, I will show for various other sectors. Like in textile also, we have seen like some are yarn companies, some companies are fabric companies, some are RMG means ready-made garments manufacturers, some are only denim companies, some are present in the entire value chain, some are technical textile companies. So we have to distinguish between these type of companies because often, like in a macro sense, it's fine. Like if you are comparing all these things, but it will be always better if you can compare, or you will get better result, I believe, if you compare apple to apple. Correct. So in this segment also, like if you consider, yes, in the auto ancillary space, piston companies are quoting at Menon Piston is quoting at lower valuation. I'm not making any comment whether it's good or bad. That is a different topic altogether. But what I'm saying, हो सकता है, it may be possible that all piston companies quote at that 10-12 valuation. So if you invest in any piston company, considering it is quoting at 10 valuation as an auto ancillary company compared to many other companies who are quoting at 30, 40, 50x, you may find it cheaper, but it will not be correct approach to have a look at it. So sub-segment wise, sorry, sub-segment wise differentiation is very, very important, which I will come out with a different video altogether for that. Anyways, let's move. Still, like apparently, if you have a check, if you have a look, these companies like this Rane Break is reasonably low, like quoting at reasonably low valuation compared to other brake players, other players. Uh, Federal Mughal, then GNA Axles, they are quoting really at low valuation. Next, there are many more. Jamna Auto is quoting at 16x only after this correction. So it is important to have a proper look at it. Automotive Excel, see GNA Excel, Automotive Excel. So these Excel companies are usually like somewhere that 13x, 16x, something like that. Correct. So need to understand these things. But apparently, few companies are uh, giving some comfort in terms of its valuation. You can have a further look into it. It's good for uh, shortlisting companies for because you can't study entire pack like 650 60 companies. So shortlisting sometimes work quite well. So in terms of valuation, these companies are putting at lower valuation, so one can have a look at it. Anyways, let's move into the commercial vehicle space. We know that Tata Motors is quoting at very, very low valuation. SML Isuzu is quoting at lower valuation compared to its immediate peer. Tata Motors is not only a commercial play, it's a commercial vehicle play, it's a combination of commercial vehicle and passenger vehicle as well. And there is already a discussion, means already some progress is there in terms of uh, demerger of the commercial vehicle business. And if this demerger happens, that will be good for Tata Motors because value and good for shareholders. I would say it's not for good for It's not bad for Tata Motors, but good for shareholders in a special way, because lots of value unlocking will happen. So some progress is already there. We have to closely watch. Uh, Probably they have given some June or July timeline for some next step of this demerger thing. Anyways, let's move into two-wheeler space. In the two-wheeler pack, Hero Motor is again quoting at much lower valuation compared to its immediate peers. Now, if we look at the banks, obviously the matrix is not P, correct? Here, the preferred matrix will be book value, price to book value, where it is price to book value, price to book price to book value, this one, correct? Price to book value. If we segregate it, we can find that Suya, the small finance bank, it has recently got the license, quoting at the lowest valuation 0.63. South Bank is almost at the same valuation, but let me tell you, historically, I think what I can recall, this company, this bank quotes at the low valuation. On this is one, and another one thing, South Bank, we have to, like, you have to check in terms of various other parameters of these banks, then only you'll be able to take a call. In the pack of the big names, uh, in the pack of the big names, IDBI is 1 point, putting at 1.38. Rest of the, then I'm not sure why this valuation, price to book value multiple could not be captured here. I have to relook at it. But yes, Kotak Bank, I know it is quoting above 3x. Now let's have a look at the PSU banks. This is the price to book value, and price to book value column is this one. So Bank of Baroda is quoting at the lowest valuation. Punjab National Bank is not far away from it. Union Bank is almost also at the same valuation. Afterwards, that central bank, Bank of Maharashtra, they are quoting at the relatively higher valuation. But here also, Bank of India usually quotes at very low valuation. For a quite long time, I have seen it quoting even lower than Bank of Baroda, but I'm not very sure why it is not getting reflected here. For Canada Bank, there may be some issue like it was missing. So Bank of India and Canada Bank quotes at, historically quotes at lower valuation, but need to relook at it. In the bearing pack, just have a look at it. In the bearing pack, this SNL bearing, it's a big company. They are quoting at 12x, and Galaxy bearing is quoting at 14x, reasonably cheaper than its immediate peers. But simultaneously, like if you look at the companies with handsome return ratios with low valuation, then Galaxy bearing is quoting at reasonably low valuation with handsome return ratio. ROE of Galaxy bearing is 22%, uh, with price to earnings of 14x. So, matlab, there are enough reason to relook at this particular company, to study this particular company, to go deep, and need to check uh, how these companies will poised to take the opportunity. It's Galaxy bearing and SNL bearing as well. So let's move into the next one. Breweries companies, correct? BCL Industries, India Glycol. See, GM Breweries is a company, although it's quoting at like a very low valuation, only 10x. But historically, I have seen this company to quote at low valuation. and need to understand the limitation. Despite having low valuation, how much they can do in terms of their geographical barriers and all. You have to judge. Uh, so how much it can grow. So they can deliver profit, but if growth prospect is not there, then valuation will not play out, or there is no point even betting for the valuation. So need to check those things seriously. BCL Industries is quoting at 13x. And another one thing I would say, BCL Industries is also into ethanol manufacturing. So there are certain developments in terms of ethanol requirement, ethanol demand, and uh, government's policy for gearing up ethanol supply to the OMCs. So this is uh, currently like India has India's demand is much higher than like whatever is supplied. And this FY25 so far till let's say the February data says, till February data says, there is a significant shortfall compared to last year FY24. Almost 50-60% down, the ethanol production I'm referring to. So the reason may be lower production due to XYZ reason, maybe lower contribution from the sugar sector because of the sugarcane compared to low means lower yield of sugarcane. So need to have a check, and sugarcane cycle was not doing well for last couple of years. So historically it runs into cycle. A few years when it goes well, afterwards there is a 1 or 2 year of dip in terms of the production. So from that aspect, BCL is not into sugarcane, but yes, they produce ethanol as well as liquor. So need to have a check this particular company. India Glycol, they are the monoethylene glycol manufacturer. So they are also producing PET bottles. Sorry, producing क्या बोलता है उसको आपका पॉलिएस्टर फाइबर फ्रॉम पेट बॉटल्स. So this is a diversified company. So this company, like there are reasons enough to have a look at this company, how they are doing at this point in time, what are the area of opportunity going forward, how the sector is doing, and all these stuffs. Now, in the power cable business, the cords cable is quoting at 17x cheapest in the pack, but rest a few companies like Unicap, Paramount, Universal Cable, they are also not far away. Like they are also like 17x to 20x. So very big difference is not there. So Phenolics cable is among the very large player who is quoting at only 23-24x. Now the point is, like if peers are also almost in the same region, then re-rating possibility is limited unless there is any serious tailwind in the sector, uh, which can augur well for the entire sector, for all the participants of the sector. Unless that sort of situation, that sort of favorable situation for the sector, the re-rating possibility is minimal. What I mean to say, like let's say you can re-rate a company by 10% upside, 20% upside, not more than that. Like when your peers are also putting almost at the same valuation, very low valuation. There is not much valuation difference. But if there is any tailwind in the sector, what I was referring to, that can augur well for the company, for its close peers as well. So that can drive profit and profitability, everything. In the telephone cable, like all companies are almost all companies are loss making. uh, Birla Cable is quoting at 88x, but I'm not sure whether it is a good valuation or not, because the rest of the peers are not uh, giving profit. Starlight Technologies, I know they have the larger chunk of business in US, and for quite some time they were not doing well, uh, yeah, because of lots of uh, 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 क्या बोलते हैं, backlogs and receivables. The receivables was the major issue for Starlight Technologies. Anyways, let's move into the next one. In the casting business, many companies are putting at reasonably low valuation. uh, Mahindra, this Forging, this belongs to Mahindra Group, right? So Forging is one of the cheapest. इसके नीचे भी है, but those are not very known names. Among the known names, Mahindra Forging is quoting at the lowest valuation, and CIE Automotive is quoting at 18x. Alicon Castalloy is quoting at 21x. But let me tell you, Alicon Castalloy is not only, obviously they are cast alloy player, but they have diversified presence with their target group. They are supplying to OEMs, and their target group is uh, two-wheelers, four-wheelers, CVs, and they are in the process of a shift from two-wheelers to four-wheelers and CVs because of high margin, matlab, because of the uh, high margin business of the four wheelers segment compared to two wheeler segment. Two wheeler is usually a low margin business, so they are in the process of the shifting towards that. Apart from that, Alicon Castola makes those cylinder caps. They are one of the major player in this particular segment, and they have a close tie up with Maruti Suzuki. So when new variants are launched, then for many cases Alicon gets orders, and they are a significant player in the EV segment as well. And they are tied up with many OEMs like Maruti Suzuki, Hyundai. They have tied up recently. So I know a little bit of this particular company, Alicon Cast Alloys. Anyways, so let's move into the next one, but please don't consider it as a recommendation. Why I have told you, because this type of information are important for all other companies which you will be shortlisting, and further deep diving. Only the outlines will not help you. Correct. Let's move into the next one. Cement companies, but here price to earnings is not the correct ratio. So what is the best matrix? That is EV by EBITDA, right? So companies who are putting at the lowest valuation, companies like ACC, Birla Corporation, JK Lakshmi Cement, are quoting at reasonably low valuation. 8x, मतलब वो 8.5 up 9 पकड़ सकते हो, 9x, 9x, 12x for these three companies. Okay, but let me tell you in this regard, I mean, most of the companies are doing huge capex to capture this infrastructure drive in the country. So it's not these companies only, like everyone, almost everyone is doing, all known names are doing huge capex. Now, what kind of capacity and what kind of uh, realization these companies generate, those are going to play a significant role along with the valuation. So those parameters are very, very important to take a call in the cement companies. But overall, I would say cement didn't do that well for quite some time, for last few years. And few years means I'm referring last 1.5 year, 2 years period of time. But uh, considering the infrastructure drive, there is a possibility for re-rating of these companies. So valuation is good, is not enough. Need to understand how these companies are going to uh, capture the opportunity of this infrastructure drive with the country. Let's move into the next one. Roofing companies, like जिसको हम लोग बोलता है कि क्या बोलते हैं उसको, जो आपका शेड्स होता है. तो इसमें देयर इज अ टर्मिनोलॉजी, आई कैन नॉट रिकॉल दैट टर्मिनोलॉजी एनीवेज. तो कंपनीज लाइक Ramco Industries, Shahadri Industries, then Everest Industries, Hyderabad Industries Limited (HIL), all these, and Vishaka Industries. These are the 4 5 very renowned player in this particular segment, having very good brand value. So Ramco Industries is quoting at the lowest valuation in the pack, when Everest Industries did quite well for quite long time, but now Everest has gone into loss. You can see there is no price to earnings because they reported loss. Everest Industries posted bad result consecutive to 3 quarters, what I can recall. Hyderabad Industries, when Everest was doing well, at that period of time also Hyderabad was in trouble. They were not posting good results. So need to check how this, because they are the market leader. This Everest, Hyderabad, they are the market leader. So how these companies are panning out, that is very important. Now Ramco Industries is cheapest at this point in time in the pack. In the ceramic pack, Somani Ceramic is quoting at 27x, when the market leader Kajaria is quoting at 39x. So there are some room for Somani Ceramic as it is seen, but need to understand, because infrastructure, I was saying about the infrastructure drive, this real estate boom uh, in the country. So future looks quite bright for the sector. Need to understand how specifically this company is well poised, well placed in the entire pack to capture the opportunities. Chemical is again very complicated sector. I have to take a separate video altogether to distinguish between these companies. Even it is more complicated than an auto ancillary, because there are various different chemicals. Unless you make a homogeneous group, you will not be able to take a correct call, because it's not correct when you are comparing a gelatin company with a uh, chloro-alkali company. You will not be able to take a correct decision if you are comparing with a chloro-alkali company with a क्या बोलता है pigment company. So all serves different industry altogether, correct? So need to understand and then take a call. So need to take a call. So what I will do, I will make a separate video for this one as well. A chloro-alkali I have already done here. So in the chloro-alkali segment, you can see this is the price to earnings. So I'm not very sure about TGV, SARC. Tuticorin is quoting at 22x. Lord's chloro-alkali is quoting at very high, very high 101x. We have seen some, because chloro-alkali segment uh, came into focus recent past when government took the came out with the anti-dumping duty, correct? So that's why it came into focus. Some of the companies performed also significantly. Tata Chemical is a major player in this particular sector, maybe like much larger than these companies which are getting reflected. But Tata Chemical is not only a sodium carbon क्या बोलते हैं sodium bicarb or soda ash manufacturer. Not only a soda ash manufacturer, they have other products in their product portfolio. So need to understand and accordingly need to take the call. That's why I didn't take the Tata Chemical in this particular pack. In the cigarette segment, uh, Godfrey Philip, it's a ITC. You can't. Okay, ITC. VST Industries are quoting at lowest valuation, but need to check how VST is, because in the competition VST always fail behind these companies like ITC, Godfrey Philip. So need to understand. Just we cannot blindly chase valuation. Sometimes overvalued companies played out. Plays out. Overvalued companies plays out, but companies with low valuation never plays out. ऐसा भी होता है. So there must be some driver or how the companies will poised to take the opportunity. Those are something. हो सकता है companies who are quoting at low valuation historically, but other people with higher valuation are giving better numbers continuously. They have better diversified uh, portfolio, or they are adding up further product lines in their portfolio. So those, from that angle we need to think. But yes, it's clear cut a clue for shortlisting. So as I have it in my knowledge that VST fail behind these players, that's why I told you it's an warning. So although it is quoting at low valuation, but I'm not taking that interest in this particular company. Now in the compressor pack, very important compressor pack, Kirloskar pneumatic is quoting at 34x compared to cheaper compared to its immediate peers like Ingersoll Rand and LG. In the IT space, in the IT space, okay. So lots of companies are visible, not known name. In the known big names, Tanla is quoting at 12x, Nucleus Software 16x, HOV Services, there were news flows for certain for some time, तो HOV इसलिए दिमाग में आया. तो 16x, and in the bigger names Mastic is quoting at 19x, और उसके ऊपर तो बहुत कुछ है. Wipro is quoting at 24x. ठीक है. So you can do further study here. Construction, I am not taking a call, not showing you construction separately because अच्छा ठीक है दिखाता है. Let me show. Smallest to largest. Companies with the Kaner construction historically quotes at lower valuation. Alembic Limited, which got separated, demerged from the Alembic Pharmaceuticals, right? It used to be Alembic Pharma. Then the real estate, they started real estate business and afterwards demerged the business, putting at low valuation. But I am not sure how this company is uh, placed. But simultaneously, you have to have a look because it is said it's a construction company, but it's a mixture of construction and real estate. NCC 14x. So immediately known names which are visible. उसका नाम हम बता दिया. Let's move into the next one. Courier companies देखने लायक कुछ नहीं है. Blue Dirt and corporate courier. I'm not very sure about it. Uh, there is a company called Delivery. Now need to check. Delivery. What is spelling mistake? Yeah. Anyways, need to check because that is also very big. Uh, like it got listed some time back. Not very old one, but they have captured the market significantly. So need to have a check. यहाँ पे delivery. It's quoting at, अरे बाप रे, it's quoting at very high valuation क्योंकि uh, uh, like it turned positive at the bottom line just couple of quarters back only, because it was a new listing, and for after listing for quite some time they were giving rather, like from the inception obviously it was not in break even. So it was initially it was giving loss at the EBITDA level. Afterwards EBITDA turned positive, and recent past I think the bottom line also turned positive. So need to have a look into delivery, how this company is well poised to uh, expand its profitability and top line. So let's move into the next one. I think this video is going getting longer. I'm sorry for that. So, so this is the dye segment sector, but dye companies, let me tell you, dye was not doing well for quite some time because of the uncertainty in the textile sector. And Kiri has had a very brilliant performance recent past. That was a different reason because of the resolution of their litigation in Singapore. So that is probably the driver of the prices recent past that augured well for the company. Uh, the decision went in favor of Kiri. So that is the reason behind why there was a price movement in Kiri. But apart from that, no one is performing. I know Bodal posted very good result in this quarter. That much I can tell. Achha, in the electric equipment segment, you can have a look. Here, transformer and equipments have been mixed together, so that should not be the correct approach. Uh, Transformer must be in a different. Here I did it. In the transformer segment, I did it. You can see Tarapur, it's a penny stock and quoting at reasonably very low valuation. Voltam transformer at 21, 22x. And let's come to this electrical thing. So Veto switch gear is quoting at 12x, uh, cheapest in the pack. Achha, in the electrodes pack, you can have a look. Panasonic Carbon is quoting at 12x. Graphite Industries is quoting at 19x, and HEG is quoting at 34x. So now it's up to you. uh, do the study, try to understand where each companies are placed, and take a call. Uh, Welding electrodes in the electrode segment, weldable segment, weldable welding equipment segment, I would say. Uh, this is data filter, smallest to largest. Ador Welding is quoting at 18x. They are welding equipment manufacturers as well as welding uh, uh, electrode manufacturer. Both are there in their product book. So Ador is quoting at 18x, Rasi 22x. Isab India is the market leader, 41, 42x. Looks costlier than all others companies, much way ahead in terms of its valuation. But let me tell you, Isab India always remains the market leader, and Isab had a brilliant performance. What I was continuously referring that uh, for last 4 5 years I have been tracking this particular company, and for in the entire period I have seen this Isab India to be number one market leader and to quote at much higher valuation compared to its peers. And sarcastically, this Isab India is the best performer in the pack, much ahead of rest all other rest of the pack. So always valuation blindly you can't go with the valuation. So ISAB is one example of it. Let's move into the next one. So Dixon is quoting at very high 131x, and rest other companies. This is not the correct approach. Actually, Mark Electronics, Sharp India, these companies must not be the compare must not be compared with uh, Dixon. Amber Enterprise is the better peer for Dixon. Need to check Amber rather than this company for comparison purpose. Engineering, again, a very vast segment. In a single video, it's very difficult. Have to take a different video because there are various engineering equipment. Someone makes very small components, someone makes big machineries. So heavy engineering, small engineering, so all together it's a mess up. So comparison, Siemens is also an engineering company, and now if we start comparing Siemens with atom valves, then it will be injustice. Correct. So need to segregate in a homogeneous pattern. So that task I have to do. I have not done for engineering so far. So once it will be done, I will post a separate video altogether. This is the EPC pack. And in the EPC pack, you can see this Atlanta. I'm not very sure why it is putting at so low valuation. Uh, Ashok Buildcon is quoting at only 3x, 4x. Engineers India quoting at 22x. It's PSU. IceJack, ISJack. This company is quoting at 30x. So there are a lot more. You can have a look at this. So in the engine spec, Kirloskar oil is quoting slightly lower than Swaraj engines. Although Swaraj engine and Kirloskar oil have different kinds of engines. Swaraj engine's engine fits in the automobiles, mainly in the tractors. And Kirloskar is, I think, better compared to Cummins India. And Cummins is quoting at 41x, but it has global presence, big MNC, and capability is way different from many other players. So need to check how these companies are well poised, whether Kirloskar has geared up, ramped up in terms of their penetration, their supply, their uh, overall performance. So that is it. And grapes cotton you cannot consider here, although it is here, but grapes cotton is much diversified nowadays. They have uh, three-wheeler parts, then they are already launched and have started performing well for like doing well for grapes cotton. That is a product called EV two-wheelers. Grapes Cotton is a player in the EV two-wheelers, and that segment augured well for Grapes Cotton. Now, how this segment is going to pan out over the period of time, that is something we need to look at it. Actually, they did lots of cash burn, right, for this, and that's why this bottom line is negative. Okay, entertainment, I will not specifically mention here. Fertilizer, yes, Zuari Agrochemical, Madras Fertilizer, SPIC, all these are putting at reasonably low valuation. And some of the companies, although was little bit higher, but did quite well, like uh, Paradip Phosphate, did quite well. There was a significant price rally also in Paradip because of their market penetration and presence. Housing finance companies, you can have a look at it. Companies like uh, GIC, Repco Home are quoting at reasonably low valuation. And in the big name, LIC Housing is quoting at only 0.9x. It's a large cap. Needless to mention, but yes, it is a large cap company. So in the food processing segment, I can see modern dairies is quoting at 8x. And there are news flows in the dairy segment, right? There are some government notification in terms of, there are some developments from government in terms of modern dairies, sorry, in terms of dairy segment, dairy industry. So modern dairy is not the only company in the dairy space. There are many other companies as well. Now need to check how these news flow augurs well for this type of companies. Uh, Parag Milk is also one which is quoting at 19x, correct? And Heritage Food is quoting at 19x. Again, LT Food, it's we know that it's a rice exporter, right? So, like comparing LT Food with all these companies will not be correct. LT Food is must be compared with KRBL. So it's quoting at 20x. Vadilal Industries, it's an ice cream manufacturer, quoting at 21x. Avanti feed, it's making shrimp feed, not human feed. It is also in this particular pack. So it's quoting at 23x. But if you compare it with aquaculture companies, it is still, despite this price rally, recent price rally in this company, uh, so this company is still quoting at reasonably low valuation. So anyways, I have covered almost all prominent sectors, and whatever I have said, I will come out separately, slowly, with in different videos. So anyways, I hope that this video was informative and helpful for you. For getting this type of value-added information, don't forget to subscribe my channel. And if you find this video really helpful for you, please like the video. Thank you so much, and see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.